get my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid and whatever the hell this channel is about. Today, this evening, this channel is about tailgating. And I'm giving you this specific angle, and I want you to keep watching back there because I'm going to share with you something that a dear 72-year-old lady has seen back here and drew a pretty good picture of. Let me jump up here. They make trucks a lot bigger than they used to. Either that or it's harder for me to jump than it used to be. Ugh. All right, I made it. So, brought my hat for the gnats. Plenty of them. So, I went into town today to run some errands, and I stopped by the post office to check our box. Excuse me, and I ate a bunch of Thai food down there. It was okay. Didn't go where I usually go. I know where the best Thai place in Charlottesville is. I don't know why I even go anywhere else, but this other place was close. It was okay. But anyway, no hate mail. There was no hate mail. And, you know, I shouldn't have even read that hate mail. Well, actually, I should have, because, wow. I'm going to show you something here in just a minute. But I want to let you know, Teresa Billingsley in Georgia, thank you for the Father's Day card. And yes, Dearly did get her Mother's Day card. Dearly usually makes these videos and kind of shows what we have down there at the P.O. box. But, of course, she's in the Philippines. Got a really neat story. I'm going to share a ghost story with you today from a woman down in Town Creek, Alabama. I'm going to read it. She wrote it down for me, and Deborah Thomas down in Alabama. It's an incredible story. It's book worthy, and I want to show you. There's a wonderful lady, Jackie Black. I think it's Logan, Utah. It says Utah here, UT, but somewhere in here there's another address for California, so I hope I'm not getting that wrong, Jackie. But, you know, so many people talk about the faces they see in the trees, and everybody's like, not everybody, but some people are like, I don't see what other people are seeing. Where is it? Am I the only person that's not seeing? Some people can see this stuff and some people can't, but Jackie wrote me a wonderful, wonderful letter pointing out in 5 different videos, and she put the title of the videos and the timestamps and all that. Bless her heart. She's 72, and I don't think she maybe couldn't comment, or she said she didn't have my email address. Well, of course not. I don't like to put that out there. But wow, look at this. Let me find, look at this. Now let me cover up her phone number and all this stuff, but look at this. There's the Bigfoot Sasquatch that she has seen right here in between these trees. And she wrote down the description about it, and she says, I keep moving in my videos and I'm getting in the way. And then here's one. She's seen another Bigfoot Sasquatch crouching down behind these trees right here, right back here behind this wood pile, right here. So keep watching right there. She's really talented here. And she's talking about seeing, oh, this one creeped me out. This is like when I sat in this chair right down over the hill here below the big oak tree where potentially, old Jessup dispatched, Jim Brown, and in October Nights, 31 Tales for the Halloween Season, the final story there, the Ballad of Jim Brown, we find out that's where he met his demise. Interestingly, this lovely lady said she's seen a man, like an old man, peeking out from behind that tree when I made videos down there, and I'm wondering if it's not the ghost of Jim Brown. And she's also mentioned that she's seen the white boy, which, as you know, is like a phantom that visited me first in a dream when I was 4 years old that others have seen in some of the videos around here. So these are really, really neat. And she's talking about, look, how like faces, like this big giant face just forms in between trees sometimes up here. This was really amazing. Isn't that something? 72-year-old young lady drawing like that with a pen. It's amazing. All right. I want to give a big thank you to Deborah Walker. I know this is supposed to be a surprise for Dearly and Daniel, but trust me, they're having so much fun in the Philippines, they're not watching my videos. Deborah got Daniel a beautiful photo album to put the photos of him and all of his nieces and aunts and uncles and cousins and his new friends over in the Philippines, so we can flip through that, and this will get used. Dearly loves to print off pictures. We have these filled with pictures all over the house, and I'm always like, why are you doing that? Everything's digital these days. But then if they're gone from me for like 4 hours, I find myself flipping through the albums, go, oh, I remember that. So this will go to good use. And so that was Daniel's surprise. And then Deborah also sent this flag, and there's the stakes to put this on, but this is for Miss Dearly. Welcome to my garden. Isn't that beautiful? And she actually even sent this for our bees. Look at this. And this is going to go up probably tomorrow. It's going to be dark here soon. Welcome to our home. And these flags, of course, came with the little metal. So Deborah, thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm going to get to the ghost story, but I've got to say one more thanks. And I don't know who to thank for this, because this came in a box without a return address and a letter that was not signed. Okay, so whoever you are, thank you for the Bear Shock ultra lightweight electric fence to put around our bee aviary. Some folks have been mentioning in the comments, this person isn't one of them. It's an interesting letter. They don't comment on videos on the internet. They don't leave like tracks or traces or whatever, because they just don't want to deal with, poo-poo heads who like to come around and start arguments with complete strangers on social media. Isn't that amazing? This phone right here, I can access all known information in the history of mankind on this little thing that fits in my hand. These are marvelous times we're living in, and most people use this instrument, which allows them to do the same thing, to argue with strangers they'll never meet. It's crazy, isn't it? But anyway, I read the letter. He or she, I don't know, said they didn't mind if I showed this because they knew I would, but they didn't put a return address or leave their name because they didn't want to receive any credit, because they will get their glory in heaven. And they told me not to worry. They said this is kind of pricey, twice as much as an electric fence, but way easier. And since they bought it for me, I shouldn't be worried about the cost anyway. I Googled it. It's like a $225 electric fence, but they said that if they didn't have it to spend on this for me, they wouldn't have done it. Don't worry. They're not stupid with money, which is the way I like to put it too. And actually, since they're not stupid with money, it's probably why they have it, or have some. But the letter, hold on. I got online and bought this for you after you made the video last week of the hate mail you got. I want to let you know that there are far more many of us that support you silently than there are who hate on you publicly. When your new book, The Lunatic, is published, I'm going to buy 20 copies and give them to my friends and family simply to support you. I want you to know there are more of us good guys out here than there are those bad guys. Ignore the haters. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, whoever you are. This will go up tomorrow, so let's hope that the bears don't get the honeybees tonight. And guess what? The Lunatic is now available in print and Kindle. The link is in the description box below. Thank you for reminding me about that. Because, gee, I might not have remembered to, plug my book in one of my videos. All right, seriously, I knew I needed to get an electric fence up around those bees. This is amazing. This will be used. Thank you, whoever you are. All right, here it is. You gotta listen to this. This is from Deborah. Make sure I get the names right. Deborah Thomas, down in Town Creek, Alabama, sent me a letter saying that she wrote, at the end of May she sent this letter, and she'd written a letter in the end of April. She never sent because she didn't think I would be interested in it. Well, you're wrong. I'm very interested in it. And look, she says, yes, you can share this on your YouTube if you want. See that? Permission granted. You might have to rewind and listen. Might have to turn up the volume. I heard something. Sound like distant screams or something. All right. Dear Kevin, I've been watching your YouTube channel for a couple of years now. It has grown in various delightful ways. Especially motivating is observing Dearly step out of her shy, sweet self and talk to us now on her channel and yours. However, this is not why I'm writing this letter to you. So why this letter, right? Well, the other day you shared an area of unusual items on your property that made my hair stand on end. This is a true story that happened years ago to my family and myself. It's not a bad story, but one that you may relate to in your current environment. So let me tell you a story and let's see where it goes for you. I already read this and she was right on all accounts there. My family and I consisted of my husband, 2 stepchildren, a boy and a girl, and my son and myself. Yep, a blended family, and we loved it. We bought a house on an estate, single lot with over 3 acres in the country. It was a home that we had worked very hard to purchase. I worked for the post office. My heart goes out to you. As a supervisor in one of the plants. My husband was a maintenance manager in the nursing home industry. Our daughter was in her late teens and going to college. Our 2 boys went to middle school and high school. I worked town 1, which is the midnight shift, because it consisted of the first hour of the day. My husband worked a regular day shift. So also he would have time for sports with the 2 boys. Yes, we sacrifice for our kids because that's what parents do every day. True statement. Our house was a 2-story full basement drive up, and she goes on to explain the layout of the house. Talks about the various rooms and how it was set up. Sounds like a wonderful house. Master bedroom was at the end of the hall on the bottom floor on the first level. We loved this house until I found something on our property. What did I find? I found an old graveyard with about 30 tombstones in it. So very similar situation here. We've got, if you missed the video from last week, I mean, we've known about the one that's on the other side of the property line. I'm going to make sure I'm not blocking anything you might be seeing back here. That's a neighbor. It's on the neighbor's property, but I recently found out there is an entirely unmarked cemetery in what is now our fruit orchard. Turns out, old boy, the old hay collector, when he started cutting hay, the woman that we bought this place from lived in this house until about 1987, I think, the year my wife was born. Ironically, that's how I remember it. And then she moved, and then she ended up using it as rental property. Old boy starts cutting the hay, and I guess he just moved them tombstones out of the way, those headstones out of the way, because, well, he could have gotten another 1/8 of a round bale of hay out of that area there. He wasn't going to let them people just be at peace right there and be remembered or whatever. So they're gone. So this is what she's talking about here. And we just found that out when I looked at the plat last week, because I thought the surveyor misidentified where the cemetery was. Turns out it's an entirely different cemetery, and goes back to the Jessup family in the late 1700s, something like that, whatever. And then Jessup, of course, is a ghost that I thought was a fictitious character. So I'm still trying to figure out, was I channeling, like that whole October Nights thing? How much of that was me actually channeling? You know, like a what do you call them? Clairvoyant or something? I don't know. Can't even say the words. You know, though, the people that are really the best at doing certain things aren't the most technically, like, up here. They can't just, like, if I were to have a conversation with somebody that taught English literature, they would make me look illiterate. in conversation. But let's take something I've written and let's compare it to what they've written, and we will see why they teach it and I do it. And I know that sounds a little bit confident, but whatever. Go read The Lunatic. It's awesome. All right, on with this story. Okay, 30 tombstones in it. No, it was not being taken care of. There were little... That was my truck. The engine's warm because I just came back from town, so that's the engine kind of cooling, but thought I heard a howl. What kind of bird is that? Does anybody know? Is that a thrasher? You know, those birds can make 1,100 different sounds. They make more sounds than any other bird in North America. I think that's a thrasher. Beautiful. Kind of... There's something howling back in that forest. Keep listening and keep watching. I need to keep out of your way. 30 tombstones. No one was taking care of it. There were little babies, grown people, a few teenagers, a war vet from the 1700s, just a wide array of people. The place was overgrown with sticks and trees and shrubs. It even had a couple... sounded like it went, oh, 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 but not a dog. Okay, there was even a cable staked all the way around this cemetery. Well, I felt sorry for these forgotten people, so I started clearing the site up during the day while my family was gone. About 2 weeks into this, I had all the debris out and the cable back in place. I had cleaned several tombstones and left flowers on a few of them. My husband found out and told me to stop messing with the dead because it made him nervous. I just laughed and said, no, they appreciate the effort. Well, things started to change. The neighborhood was having a few theft problems because everybody was... It sounds like somebody screaming. Guys, I don't think we're alone up here tonight. Keep watching. I'll make sure not to block your view. Okay, so her husband found out and said stop messing with the dead because it made him nervous. I just laughed and said, no, they appreciate the effort. Well, okay. Vandalism in the neighborhood because people were working during the day. So we had motion sensors installed at the front door and the French doors to the deck. See, when I sleep during the day, I turn everything off, and that usually includes the central air. I love Alabama hot weather. People say I'm crazy. Hey, it gets hot in Virginia, but I've been down there in Alabama, and it gets even hotter. You better believe I wouldn't be turning off central air if I had it. But hey, to each their own. So one day, I get home about 8 in the morning to an empty house. I go in and set the alarms and go to the master bedroom at the end of the hallway. It was about an hour, and I hear the motion sensor go off in the dining room area. Mind you, I'm a southern-raised independent female who definitely knows how to use a loaded weapon. Well, I got my pistol, yes, it was loaded, and went to my bedroom door. The door was open, so I had quick access if needed. I got down on my knees and crouched to the bottom of the door. Yes, I was prepared to protect whatever I had to at that moment. So just as I stuck my head out of the bottom door frame area, I saw what was making the sensor go off. She was standing between the den and the dining room looking out the bay window. The lady had on clothes from the 1700s. Her hair was in a bun and she looked lost. She didn't know where she was at, and our house was unusual for her. I kept watching her thinking, who wears that kind of clothes to rob a house? She had a long dress, like an old farmhand would wear, with an apron. You know how when you see someone, the last thing you look at is their feet? Well, that's what I did. And guess what was missing? She didn't have any feet. I knew then that my Smith & Wesson was useless, to say the least. I kept watching her I kept watching her, and I don't have my reading glasses on. This is actually very neat handwriting. It's just a couple years ago, I needed to start reading with glasses. And plus, the last 2 months, I have just been staring at a computer screen, knocking out this novel, The Lunatic. It's awesome. It's going to drastically increase the quality of human life on planet Earth. And then, of course, it's going to be known as the novel that made it possible for human beings, people, to leave Earth and actually step foot on Mars. That will happen within one lifetime of this book being published. That is how powerful this book is. And when you get to the part about the camel, I warned you. There's multiple warnings in the book, too, about the part coming up about the camel. When you read about that camel, all right. A few minutes went by and I decided to try to talk to her. I stepped in the hallway and said, "Hey, what's your name? Can I help you?" She turned and in a second she was gone. Needless to say, I didn't really sleep that day. I didn't tell my husband or kids because I knew she had come from the grave site on our property. They would blame me if they... It's like a tree knock not too far away. Well, she was afraid that her kids and husband would blame her about the ghost if they found out. So let's go about 3 weeks further. My husband and I were sitting in the den talking real low so we wouldn't wake the kids. And all of a sudden, 2 doors on my big china cabinet opened. They were extremely hard to open because of the latches. The doors shook and slammed shut. I had my back to it, but my husband was sitting in the recliner looking straight at the cabinet. All the color left his face. He said, "Deborah, don't turn around, please." I looked at him and said, "She won't hurt you. She just doesn't know where she's at, and she hates cluttered silverware." In a minute, she was gone. I had to explain to him how I knew about the lady. He proceeded to tell me, "You're restricted from that graveyard from now on." Boy, was he upset. Needless to say, until we sold the house, I didn't go back and work on the graveyard anymore. There is no telling who would have shown up in our house. So you see, Kevin, your tombstones brought back some memories. Be careful. Deborah Thomas. You know, there are just things that happen in this world. Like loud, thunderous growls that might even resemble the sound of thunder, but as you can see, there's a couple clouds up there, but those aren't thunder clouds. Those aren't storm clouds. Not everybody has the eyes to see these things, and not everybody has the ears to hear. I don't understand quantum physics. Does that mean quantum physics isn't real because I don't understand it? No. I have no reason to doubt that the story I just read you from this wonderful woman down in Alabama, Deborah Thomas, is true. I have no reason to doubt her. I have no reason to doubt the wonderful lady who is an excellent artist. That's amazing. And so many other stories that people have shared with us here on the channel. You know, we read them in the comment section. There's just so many. At times I don't always, address all of them. But some amazing stuff out there. And I think those who are loudest in regard to trying to discredit these stories or try to say that ain't real, well, it's twofold. I mean, you've got, for example, the main character in the book, the lunatic, always talking about how he's not stupid. Well, could it be maybe people are afraid they might be seen as who they really are, and they try to make sure people don't see that, so they project and cast out, don't look, that stuff's just stupid. And or could it be, I mean, that's part of it, but could it also be that they want to believe? I mean, not to sound like David Duchovny's character in the X-Files here, Agent Mulder. Speaking of files, gosh, have you guys read all 10 volumes of Bigfoot Sasquatch files? Now that the lunatic is out of the way, and I'm sure well on its way to breaking every record in the world of literature right now, maybe it's time to get started with Bigfoot Sasquatch Files Volume 11. Just saying. But the critics, could it be that they want to believe and they just get so frustrated because they can't see and they can't hear, and so they just kind of lash out? I don't know. But thank you, everybody, for the gifts. Thank you for the Father's Day card, Teresa Billingsley, the letters, the wonderful letters, the pictures, the ghost story from Alabama. And as always, thanks for being here with me for another video from Homesteading Off the Grid. People are always trying to figure out what the channel's about. I don't know what it's about. It's like it's about whatever I want it to be about. I mean, that day, unless if they got me starring in another commercial or something. You guys see that commercial I was actually in? I'll put it, at the end of this video. It's really awesome. It's a really awesome commercial. I hope to maybe get to do some more commercials here in the future. Maybe get a few more commercial appearances. All right. See you for more next time. And don't worry. Everybody's saying that you missed the red circle and the blue rectangle and all that. I'm getting ready to break that stuff back out again here real soon. See you next time.